recording. There we go. So now we could just simply write this as C times A is equal to B. Yes? What was the third thing we wanted to do? We now have B by itself. No, it's actually right here. Yeah? So it's already there. I'm just showing it step by step because sometimes it's easier to follow. Okay? Yeah. So B is now on the top. It is by itself. What's the third thing we need to do? We need to put it on the left. And this is specifically useful for science because we're going to use this equation and then we're going to actually plug real values into these equations. So all you have to do, if you have an equation that's like this, and you want, and B is over here, and you want it on the other side, you just take the entire equation and you flip it. Yes? So whatever's on the left can go on the right, whatever's on the right can go on the left, as long as you move everything all at once. So you can just flip this. You can say, I'm going to take this and move it over here, and I'm going to take that and move it over there. So now I have B is equal to C times A. Is good? Okay. Method 2. A is equal to B over C. And this is, we could call this the diagonal method. Because we're going to move things diagonally across the equal sign. So once again, we say, what's the first thing we need? We need B on the top. Then we need to get B by itself. Who's cluttering up B? C. So we need to move C. Okay, so we're going to move it to the other side of the equal sign. But here's my question to you. Am I going to move it? Let's just say I put a line here just so I could, if I wanted to, put something on the bottom. Am I going to move C here, or am I going to move C up here? I'm going to move it up because I'm going to move it diagonally across the equal sign. And you don't actually have to write any of that. You can just move it up there. That's my favorite way of doing it because it requires less writing. I always like less writing. But if this is the method you're familiar with and it makes sense to you, go for it. Please do what makes you feel best. Okay? And then we need B to be on the left. Yes? So what do we do with that entire equation? Flip it. Okay, so we're going to put B over here, and that's equal to C times A. And remember, CA is just the same as C times A. Those mean the same thing. Is good? Okay. So that one's pretty straightforward. I like solving for the one that's on the top. It's pretty easy, okay? There is a third method, if you like, method 3. And this is the cross multiply method. So we have A is equal to B over C. We can put A over top of the number. What number could we put on the bottom just to have something there? We could put a 1. And then what we can do is we can cross multiply where we have 1 times B. Okay, and we can also have A times C. And then if we get rid of the 1, we just have B is equal to A, C. And if you remember, CA was the same as C times A, which is also the same as AC. Does it matter if I say 2 times 3 or if I say 3 times 2? No. Okay, so 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. So that means if you have A times C, that's the same as C times A. Is some of this seeming familiar to you? You've learned some of this before in math class? Okay, excellent. That is kind of the nice one where we're solving for the thing that's on the top. Okay. Now we're going to do, this is on page 39. And we're going to look at this one where we're now going to try and solve for C. It's always trickier when you're trying to solve for the one on the bottom. Okay, so we did the one that's on the top, that was an easy one. Let's try to solve for the one that's on the bottom. So we have A is equal to B over C, and we're trying to solve for C. If we want to solve for C, we need to get C on the top. We need to get C by itself. And then we need to get C on the left. Is C on the top this time? No. So what could you do if you were doing like what you've learned in math class? You could do what? You could multiply both sides by C. Ooh, look at that. Yes? So now we have C times A is equal to C. Now that's great. Very nice. C is now on the top. Sorry, Ella, I didn't grab you one. Page 39. Now we need C by itself. Who is cluttering up the C? Who's causing the problem? Is it B? A, because we've got C over here, we don't want to have A. A is cluttering this up. So we want to get A out of there. How are we going to get rid of the A on that side? We can divide both sides by A. Okay, and now we have an A on the top and an A on the bottom, so those two will cancel out, and you will be left with C is equal to B over A. And then you want C on the left, but guess what? C is already on the left, so you're good to go. Okay, so that's method one. It's where you multiply both sides and you divide both sides until everything sorts itself out. Okay, so this was method one, where you multiply both sides or divide both sides as needed. I actually find for solving this type where the thing is on the bottom, where you move things diagonally across the equal sign, it actually makes it a little bit easier, I think. Maybe you'll think differently, but let's try method two. Ooh, diagonally only has one n. Okay, so we have A is equal to B over C, and we are trying to solve for C. So number one, we want C on the top. Right now, C is on the bottom. Now I could say, what could I do with C? When I move it to the other side, am I going to move it across or am I going to move it up? I'm going to move it up because that's moving diagonally. And it might be helpful for you to draw like a little line here to like keep yourself, you know, in order as to what's on the top and what's on the bottom. Okay, so if I move C diagonally, then it's going to end up where? Right beside A. So C is now right beside A, and that's equal to B. Once again, I'm going to draw in a couple little lines here just so that I know that if I'm moving something to the side, I have to move it either up, like straight across, or down, or diagonally, or whatever. Now I need to get C by itself. So who do I want to get rid of? A. Here's A. I would like to move it to the other side. When I move it to the other side, what do I have? Which direction do I have to move it? Diagonally. Am I going to move it diagonally up or diagonally down? Where's there space for something? I have to move it down because there's nothing above B, right? There's like an empty space down here. Okay, so I can move A down there. So now I have C is equal to B over A. And now I need C on the left, and it is on the left. So we're good. Yes? You could do this by cross multiplying. Cross multiply. A is equal to B over C. So now we're going to, because we need something on the bottom, we're going to put a 1. So we have 1 times B is equal to, and then our other two things that we multiply together are A times C. And so now we have B is equal to A times C. Now we can't cross multiply anymore, right? Like there's nothing to cross, right? And we still need to get C by itself. So at this point, you would have to choose either to move it diagonally, or you would have to choose to divide both sides by C. Okay, so two ways of solving that. The problem with the cross multiply method is it doesn't work if everything's all in one line, right? Like, I don't think it does anyway. If you guys know how to make it work, but I don't know. Anyway, you still need to get C by itself. So you could either go divide by A, and cross out the A's. Now you have C equals B over A. Or B is equal to A times C. What could I do with the A if I want to move it diagonally? Is it going to move up or down? It's going to move down. Okay, so it's going to end up down here. So I'll end up with B over A equals C. And either of those I can then, what do I need to do with them? I need to flip them. So I get C is equal to B over A. So what I'm going to advise is that you pick a favorite method. If you don't have a favorite method, if you're like, I don't have a favorite method, then I will recommend the moving diagonally, because it is the simplest, it is the cleanest, and it's just really simple and clean. But like I said, if you feel really good about either of the other two methods, use those, okay? So I would like you to try right now the questions on, where is it? Oh, this is not the right place. There we go. The questions on page 42 and 43. Okay, 42 and 43. Okay, and you're going to give it to me, and I will tell you if you're right or wrong. And then if you got it wrong, then we can talk. Like, fix it for you. Okay? And if you're having trouble, call me over. I'm really happy to help you out. Not that I can't do it in my head, but this makes it faster. Here we go. Yay. Once you're done and you've shown me number 7, and you've gotten it correct, you can go and you can work on your cheat sheet, or actually I'll show you a page where there's some stuff worthwhile doing. Yes. Yes, and I think that one's yes. Yes. There we go. We're gonna learn. Okay. So let's solve for 8. That means you want 8 on the top. Is it on the top? Is there anything on the bottom? No. So it's on the top. Okay. We want it by itself. By itself? No. So we need to say who is messing up H? I. So we want to move I. Okay? So I'm going to take I, and you can move I diagonally. Is it going to move up or is it going to move down? It's going to move down. So it's going to move down here. I down here. Okay, and we'll cross it out here. So now what you're left with is you're left with E over I equals. Okay, because that we're just rewriting it to I as moved over. Okay, and then you want to have the H on the left as we flip it. Okay, back. Okay, very good. Let's try solving for I. Okay, so we're going to rewrite our equation. We're going to say B times I. Now you want to solve for I. You want I on the top. Yes. And if you want to, you can always write like the little lines underneath to be like, yeah, okay, I know there's nothing on the bottom yet. Okay. You want it on the top. You want it by itself. And then you want it on the left. Equation. And you'll rewrite it with the I. Yeah. Well, you can rewrite it as is. And then you're going to flip it. This will probably, if you're going to make a mistake, it will be these ones here. So check with me to see if you're doing those ones correctly, okay? So that's number 4, 5, and 6B. 4B, 5B, 6B. Those are the really tricky ones. block, yes. What? Oh, this is the Green Book. Good question, Green Book. So it's on chromosomes and stuff. It's helpful review for your test there. Whoa, what am I doing? Ah!